we got some killer Marvel Legend reveals at San Diego Comic-Con, some that have been on my list, an updated Quicksilver, Crystal, Lockjaw, finally. But of course, as any greedy Marvel Legends collector, the wheels started churning, going, well, there's a whole lot more Marvel Legends I still need. And I told y'all in a few lives back, I could come up with a list of 200 characters that I still need to have a complete collection. And I did a top 50 last year. It's crazy that it went by that fast. And I decided I'm not just going to repeat that same old list and just replace the ones that I've been able to cross off and just say, hey, it's an updated list. No, I'm going to do exactly what I said. I'm going to come up with a almost entirely new list of 50 characters that still need the Marvel Legends treatment. Let's kick it off right now. What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. And yeah, I mean, we got a lot of great names. Rom, who wasn't even on my list, scratch him off. Dragon Man, wasn't expecting that. Take him off my imaginary list. So many characters that were revealed. And 2024 has been a really good year for Marvel Legends figures. I finally got a classic, almost classic. I don't know what the deal was with the eye mask with Baron Zemo, and just so many great figures and updated new Avengers era Luke Cage and Iron Fist that can almost double for both old school and new Avengers. Superior Spider-Man updated, an astonishing Wolverine update. So much great stuff. A new Phoenix too. I mean, there's just so much stuff. But I'm greedy and I want it all. I'm like, Violet, give me all of them. And so let's kick off this new updated list. Now, like I said before, 10 holdovers. So I decided let's start with the one you all probably know I want the absolute most. And that's my guy Banshee. Complete my all new, all different Uncanny X-Men. He's the last man standing and he's still cool. We've already got the figure. Just repainted green. That's all we need. So let's get him done. He's an easy layup. And let's make that happen. Let's stop delaying. Next up, X Factor version 2, Jean Grey, Beast. I will take a box set to get all four of these guys and give me an updated Iceman with this power restraining belt, Cyclops on the Vulcan body, and then these two. But these two are absolutely necessary. We have Cyclops in this blue and white, and I think the old Bucky cap mold is long since outdated. We need a better one. We have one now. And so we can just repaint Cyclops on that. We're all set. But we need these two. I mean, I love this look for Beast. And then, like I keep saying over and over until Hasbro's like, yes, let's do it. Let's shut him up finally. Make this head a separate piece. The swappable fuzzy blue Beast head there. Swappable forearms and knees. Right at the shin, I guess it is. And that way you can swap all the blue pieces off, and then we can have that X-Men versus X Factor fight from the start of Inferno when the two teams finally collide. That'd be awesome, and I'd love to see that. And to get that further accomplished, I need Jean Grey in her red and yellow, and Beast in his brown and yellow. Next up, hopefully y'all are counting at home because I think at my rate right now I'm at 3. And when I get to 3, I got to go to 4. So that means the rest of the Frightful 4, Wizard, Trapster. And I'm going to keep saying these 5 characters until they get done. But they're so important. We already have a Sandman. We've got a Medusa. Again, she could be improved, but Sandman's really solid. There's several different good versions of him. And Wizard fights the Human Torch. I mean, he's like all over the place. And Trapster, Paste Pot Pete, this team's almost complete. It's just another box set, another 2-pack. This has been the year for 2-packs. So hopefully we can get this done, or maybe they just continue the 2-pack flavor on for another year. It kind of feels like this has been the year of 2-packs with so many really good ones. So this one with these two would be really great. And I'd love to see them finally get done so I can have a Frightful 4, the arch enemies of the Fantastic Four, not named Doctor Doom. Then let's keep that Fantastic Four connection going. We did finally get Crystal. And you see her, for whatever reason, in this color, she's in a Fantastic Four outfit. But we've got Black Bolt. I want a better version of him. Karnak, I want a smaller version of him. But let's get the other two that we don't have, who don't have a figure at all right now. Let's get Gorgon. Let's get Triton. Make it a 2-pack. I mean, we're on a roll with these things. So let's keep it going. Put those two in a 2-pack. We know they don't necessarily have to do like, oh man, we got to have one that's really small or the same size. I think Gorgon, we could basically get away with him being around the same size as the Luke Cage figure. So I think that's solid. Triton's going to need a little bit more love and attention with his unique sculpt. Maybe that's why it's taking him so long to get a new figure, to get a figure that's not in that 3.75-inch scale. But you really need him. I mean, this team is again another one that's almost complete. Now that we got Crystal and Lockjaw, two more characters. And I still want Maximus, but he was on the old list, so he doesn't make the cut. But these guys are really important. Let's see them done. So that would take me to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go make it an even 10 with these guys. We almost have Freedom Force complete now. We've got a Destiny and another 2-pack with Evil Rogue. And we've got Mystique. We've got Pyro, Avalanche, Blob, Spiral. We've even got Spider-Woman. Now it's time for the final 3 members of Freedom Force. That's Crimson Commando, Stonewall, and Super Saber. And I love this crew. It's just a bunch of older guys, and Crimson Commando is just really cool. They don't even have to do that much work. Give him a different head sculpt, and he can use that Vulcan body with a belt and a bandana. We're good. Stonewall is pretty massive, but I feel like they've got several that would work. Maybe even just that old Drax body, the big one in the 2-pack with Moondragon, that will work for him. Super Saber, I think, would work really fine with any of the Pizza Spider-Man bucks with butterfly shoulders. He's small, he's skinny. I don't even think he needs to be as big as Quicksilver. But I mean, these 3 would complete another team, and this is one for sure, judging by the Cabal set, they can make and have no problems knocking out and getting it done for. So I would love to see these guys. Maybe this is good luck with that. But I think their look is so cool. I mean, the colors, you got purple, blue and brown, purple and yellow, and red or crimson. I mean, they look really sharp against each other. When you pair them up with the rest of Freedom Force / Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, whatever version, they will look really solid on the shelf. So definitely want to see these guys added on there. I think they would make for really solid looking figures. Next up, Harry Leland, and I put him here with the rest, or at least 2 more members of the Hellfire Club, because we got Jason Wingard, we got Shaw, but they're in bad colors. This is the ones I want for them. So if you got to do a 3-pack, make that happen. Get them in their correct colors, not that bogus one from the Hellfire Club set and the Wolverine set. This is the colors I want from those guys. But Leland is the last one. He's the one we don't have yet for this team. And I think he's going to need a dedicated bulk, a dedicated buck / mold, whichever way you want to go with it. But we need to get him. We got the rest of the crew. I mean, and he's part of the most pivotal storyline in X-Men history, with the Dark Phoenix saga about to launch, spark, if you will, after the X-Men's confrontation with the Hellfire Club. Let's make this happen. This guy, I mean, they just look so kind of sneaky evil with these kind of old school outfits, and they're just ready to party and take care of all kinds of crazy stuff. Leland's the last one, and that scene with him and Wolverine is a truly memorable, iconic shout out Hasbro Star Wars Black Series team. Look, and so we can get him. We'll have that squad, the whole deal done. Again, I'm all about team completion with these wish lists. He's another one really necessary to complete a really significant team in X-Men history. Then we got Psylock. I'm going to continue the X-Men theme. We got an armored version of her, not the one I wanted. We got armored Psylock in that 2-pack with Wolverine. This is the armored look I think most of us were hoping to see. This is after she realized maybe my little flared out sleeves aren't getting it done when I have to face somebody like Sabretooth. I need a little bit of protection. I think this is one of her best looks, and it's just such a really sharp color palette. We've got this magenta kind of bodysuit and the lavender armor and the purple cape. I mean, it looks really cool. I wish I could find a Mark Silvestri drawing of this, but this is the easiest one. Show off the look. We've got a lot of the Outback team. Got Havoc, got Storm, got Dazzler, Long Shot, Wolverine. I still need a shirtless Colossus with his wrestling attire, basically, and Armored Psylocke. We definitely need her. So get this one knocked out, and then we'll keep working, ringing the bell for Colossus. Next up, Jack of Hearts. I think Jack of Hearts was rumored on a list that's supposed to come, so maybe I can knock him off really soon. But I really fell for this character during his appearance on Jeff Johns' run of Avengers. Gary Frank was doing the art on that. So if you want to continue reading their amazing work, pick up Geiger, Ghost Machine, really solid. But his costume is just so. I mean, he would stand out on any shelf. If you put him with the X-Men, the Avengers, Fantastic Four, you'd be like, who is this guy? Great costume. And I would love if we got like a separate swappable head where we didn't have the cowl where he had his hair going to get that John's Frank look. But this is such a cool costume. And he fits in with your Avengers team. And he can fight cosmic characters. He's all over the place. Let's get him in there. He's just such a fun looking character. Then I've got to continue pushing Hasbro's Marvel Legends team to finish what they've started. They've done really good work building up a DNA Guardians of the Galaxy. We've got Star-Lord. We've got Warlock. Sort of got this version of Gamora. We do now have this Moon Dragon. So, of course, I mean, if you want it, and we got this Cosmo, kind of, sort of, but I need more of them. They're almost done. We got Drax too. I want Groot in this full attire costume with these guys, but I'll settle for 2 right now, just 2. And there's still more. So I want Manus. I definitely want to see her in this green skin, DNA skirt look, the whole blue and red. I like the costumes. We've got a lot of this uniform squad look, so I want to see her in this attire before we get her in the Avengers look. I know that's a popular, heavily requested outfit look for her, but I want this one first since that team is more complete. And then Phyla-Vell, her look is so cool. I mean, the sword, the whole shredded up cape, she looks awesome. And we've already got her girl Moon Dragon here, so we can complete the team, the whole couple. Got them. We even got Crystal to play hostage with this scene with the Shi'ar, then humans. We can this whole thing together. And then I'm still going to be pulling for Bug and Jack Flag, who is so close to making my list, maybe an honorable mention. He's basically using the Star-Lord mold anyway. So just give him a new head and a different paint on the gloves, and we're pretty much all set with him. So easy one. But my 2 from this DNA squad, Mantis, Phyla-Vell. I'm going to keep it going with the Avengers now, since I neglected Avengers version Mantis. We're going to go with Dr. Druid. We've got so much of this fallen Avengers team under siege squad done. We've got Captain Marvel, we've got Hercules, Namor, Captain America, Wasp, we've got Thor, Black Knight, we've got a really awesome She-Hulk. Now it's time to get Dr. Druid. I think he kind of is everyone's least favorite Avenger. I think he looks really cool, and I think he would be a great time for them to roll out and experiment a little bit more with soft goods, cloth capes, because he needs that flowing deal, and we don't need it kind of lost in a immovable cape where he can't do anything. We need him to be able to at least give a little ho and pondering, I'm thinking really hard, or gesturing any kind of way. And a plastic cape might be a little bit too restrictive. I don't think he requires a lot of work outside of this cape. I mean, it's a basic head sculpt. I think you can throw him on the Vulcan mold too, call it a day. And we've got another Avengers team completed. Always a good thing. Next up, another Avenger / Avengers villain, Swordsman. And I neglected Bannis, but I want to get her dude here because he's a great villain. He fought Cap's Kooky Quartet. And, with that squad, one guy with swords, with a sword arsenal was enough to keep them at bay for a while. I love his color scheme. I love the little mohawk fin he's got going with the costume. I guess these pouches, they don't seem like they have any opening, but it's just a cool look. And he's one that can double as both an Avengers member and a villain. So that 2 for ability makes him a definite need for my Marvel Legends wish list. And I neglected Daredevil, and I still didn't manage to put in enough of his villains in this list. Shout out Al. You're going to get on there next time for, I guess, the 3rd top 50. But Gladiator is such a cool looking costume. He's got these saw blades on his wrist. I mean, the dude is just crazy. I mean, he's fighting a guy who can't see. That's a cool mix up there, a cool mashup of a vulnerable hero versus crazy looking villain. And the helmet looks awesome. The yellow with the blue squares there, not squares. What are they? Whatever. The blue design in the chest piece here. We got the sash belt, the cross belt, and we got those razors on the boots. I'm really shocked that we didn't get a Gladiator figure right when the Netflix Daredevil show was on, seeing as how he was actually there. We had some Easter eggs with his old costume. And I was just like, why are we never getting a Gladiator figure? So we still need an updated version of the Shi'ar version, but I definitely want to show a little bit of love to the Daredevil section of this Marvel universe. Let's get another bad guy for him to fight with Gladiator. They're going to move on. I think the Fantastic Four, they've done a decent job providing some of their villains, but there's still the need for so many more. Hopefully, with the movie coming out next year, we'll see a large influx of Fantastic Four love coming to Marvel Legends. But until then, I'm going to push to get Diablo. I love this guy's costume. The horn helmet is just crazy. He looks like a bad guy. And how his cape just kind of drapes, kind of flows. Darth Vader's like, I see what you're doing there, guy. And this kind of deep purple, green, always a good color scheme for a bad guy. And he can fight the whole team, create a real mess, a real problem, makes him a really good candidate to fight the Fantastic Four. And yes, and of course, I want to get the Fantastic Four with this kind of collar, just a simple black there, like we see here from Sue and the thing off to the side there. I want to see that. Maybe we'll get him in a box set. But Diablo, for sure, is a bad guy, long overdue, but really cool, movable, posable Marvel Legends figure. And then another bad guy. And we've gotten a lot of Alpha Flight love, so why not get one of their main villains, the Master of the World? This dude's costume is another one that I think is so cool. This just kind of silo where his head's just hanging in there and the cape flows from the chest piece. It's a great look. He's one that definitely should have a cloth cape because he's all about sitting on the master's throne, maybe reading a newspaper. But he looks great. The black, the white, red, so striking. And we don't really have a whole lot of that with Alpha Flight. I mean, we got Vindicator, Guardian in red and white, but his looks a lot different and really fun to mix hear him with Alpha Flight. Words will come. But yeah, I love this look, and I think he'd make for a really fun figure. And then I'm keeping my villains theme going. We've got Mandrill here. Mandrill fought the Defenders. Battle them was a real nuisance to them. It was just way more of a threat than I ever knew. And I think the team would have so much fun doing this guy with that really high flared collar, the crazy head sculpt, the big long arms, the clawed hand or long fingernails. Great look for him. You can join the Hood's version of the Masters of Evil 2 or the Hood's gang. And here you go. I mean, he's just a wild looking villain. And we need more crazy looking bad guys. He fits the bill just fine. And again, somebody to battle the Defenders. Next up, 3 characters here. This is going to take us almost halfway. This is 22, 23, and 24. The Horsemen of Apocalypse. You note, of course, there's not 4 of them. We've already got him with Archangel, but we get War, Famine, Pestilence. I don't know how we can figure out this whole steed thing, but I would love something where we can get all 3 of them because they cause major problems for X Factor. And messed up Beast made him so he started getting dumb. And of course, kept using his powers and got dumber every time. And then this was really leading to the whole, oh man, Angels finally become a tough, really important character. And this is really strong. Good stuff. Like I said, I don't quite know how they can figure out the steeds. Maybe that's something they could do as Pulse exclusives. Just, hey, here's 3 steeds you can buy separately, and we can get these figures on their own. But I love their design. I love the fact that they actually look like a team as opposed to all the different versions of the Horsemen of Apocalypse we've seen in the future. These guys look great, and I would really love to see them as a longtime old school X Factor fan. Keep this thing moving right along. More X-Men. I feel like I'm like Hasbro. How many more X-Men can I throw in this mix? But we've gotten a lot of the Starjammers. We've got Chode. We've got Corsair. We've got binary. It's time to get the other two founding members, Raja, Hepzibah. I love this Art Adams drawing of them. I think this is the coolest they look. No need to change anything else. Just give us this look. Our cat skunk and our cybernetic pirate. Make that happen. These guys look so cool. We've already got half of them. And I mean, these guys look so fun. And putting them all together on the shelf would be awesome. Let's make another team complete 2-pack. And I feel like they set up a lot of things where if they were to just continue making the 2-packs, the Amazon exclusives, a thing going, closing out this year, going into 2025, they could finish and complete so many teams. So here's another 2-pack suggestion, solution. Let's keep them coming. Next up, we haven't seen much word on the Secret Wars lineup. And after Strange Tales, I know some of us were a little disillusioned, like, this is not what we were promised. So I don't know if we're going to see any characters from the comic book focus too heavily in the Secret Wars homage line. If not, I definitely want to get Volcana in the mix. I don't know what I was saying, Volcana. That was weird. Anyway, Volcana, but I'm not sure how to do her. Do we just put her in this pink bathing suit and call it a day? Or do we get some swappable parts where we can start to see the black and gold power surge through her? I think that might work, make a little bit more sense. Like maybe swap the arms, the forearms, maybe where we can start to see her shifting up a little bit. Maybe a swappable head where like her midsection is the only part that you can't swap out. We've got a okay-ish version of Molecule Man. We got a lot of Doctor Doom's forces. She and Titania are major characters during that arc. Volcana even more so because she's tied so closely to Molecule Man, but gotta get her, gotta get Titania. I chose Volcana this time because I'm really hoping we get a 2-pack with her, with Titania and Absorbent Man, Crusher Creel. Next up is Adam Warlock. He's one where I feel like they could do a 3-pack of all the different looks of him. This is not his classic look. This is his look for Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War. And I kind of want this one a little bit more just simply because it's such a pivotal storyline. Got a movie basically about it. So that would be really great to get this look, maybe even include the Infinity Gauntlet with him, and then get his original classic look. And I wouldn't mind an update off that old Bucky cap mold for the DNA version because he's way bigger than that scrawny look we have for him now. But yeah, this look would be cool. I think he's another one. They want to get a little frisky, a little fun, give him a soft goods cloth cape so we can kind of do something like this. Maybe throw in some wire so we can pose it. But yeah, definitely want to see him. And I mean, we're so close to getting so many major key characters from Infinity Gauntlet. He's the major one that's missing at this point. So love to see him. Professor Hulk, we'll get into him later. This is a guy who I really want to see done. I don't know which way because there are lots of different options for him. But Cameron Hodge, he battled Tangle with the New Mutants during Fall of the Mutants. He was harassing the X Factor, a real issue for the whole team. And I don't want to go, hey, put him with different members. The smiley face, it's the right. It's been too long since I read X Factor, but I want to see him in his human form, not that scorpion kind of weird look. I think that'd be a fun, not quite HasLab, but I think that would make for a really fun Pulse exclusive figure. But I want a basic one, a human, all human version, because I think he'd appreciate that. So get him in this kind of look, or from X Factor 34 when he's battling Archangel to the death. Legit. This big chunky armor suit is cool, but I don't know if it really has much use beside this one look. So maybe I prefer to get this look from New Mutants as I feel like that's more functional. And I think they can probably use some existing parts to get that look, but want to see Cameron Hodge added to the mix. More X-Men villains because I got to keep this going. Apparently, I need my next 50 to have more Spider-Man, Avengers, Fantastic Four villains because the X-Men villains just took this thing over. Moses Magnum, thankfully, he fought some other heroes, so he's not exclusive to the X-Men. But I love this cover by Carrie Gamble. So great. And you see he's throttling Colossus, so he is no chump. I love this really clean white, a little mix of white, little mix of red and black. I think it's such a sharp costume. He's a dude that kind of essentially takes out Banshee for a long time on the team. I mean, but how many black villains do we have? There's Thunderball, there's Killmonger, and him. I guess Prowler, if you want to call him a villain, but there's not a lot. And I think because he's not a chump, he actually has some power. He'd be a great addition to the team of villains that we need on our shelf. And his costume, a lot different than the purple green that we have probably a little bit too much of. And I think he'd be a great one to match up against your X-Men. So I could even reenact this pose, which would be great if only I had a green and yellow Banshee. Woo-hoo. All right, next up, the Melter. The Melter is one where I kind of was like, man, this guy is one who really has different looks over the years. I opted for this one simply because this is the look when he first started out, when he was battling Iron Man and that Iron Man Model 3 look. And this is also his team look for when he initially signed on with the Masters of Evil. So I got Baron Zemo. Let's get more of that team together and that whole look because the Radioactive Man has a different look too. I'd like to get him in this classic original look, and then maybe later on we can get him in his more traditional look of green and orange. It's a cool costume. I want this one too. Don't get me wrong, but I need to get my original Masters of Evil look for him first. Speaking of Masters of Evil, let's go on with Black Knight. We have the head sculpt for him. He's already laid out, but I want to get this version to join the team, and I think this would be a great opportunity to get the winged horse, to get Aragorn in there, and that way our Black Knight 2, our Valkyrie that we still don't have in a classic sense, done in an upgraded Hasbro form, could all ride the horse. But Black Knight is definitely one, again, complete that original Masters of Evil look. We can use Dread Knight's Trident Spear. That way we've got that covered. We just need the figure. We've already, and I don't know if I necessarily want the scale mold because those parts can get a little bit tricky. The joints can get stuck and break. So maybe give the illusion of the scales, kind of like how this is done, and I'd be fine. But I really like to see him. I just love that look. And more Masters of Evil. The original crew would be great. So next up, let's see where we are in this count. He's 32, so we're rolling. The Supreme Intelligence. We've gotten so many Creed characters. We've got Ronan. You see him right here bowing before him. That I think the Supreme Intelligence will be a great, cool figure to throw in the mix. Clearly going to need to be a deluxe figure. I don't know how big and wide we need this guy, but I think it'd be really fun to just have like this huge cylinder. I mean, Hasbro already kind of did this with the Power Rangers line, and it'd be really great to get a villain like this one who's manipulating everything, especially when you consider the Supreme Intelligence importance to the whole Kree Skrull War and Operation Galactic Storm. Really fun to get this, and I don't know. I just think it'd be a weird. What the heck is that? We've already got MODOK, so how far off would this one be? So Supreme Intelligence, let's throw him in the mix too. And then we'll keep it going with Scorpion, another Avengers Nick Fury villain. I think we've got a really great Nick Fury, so why not get his arch rival and a guy who can fight the entire Avengers team, Clint Barton Goliath. We've got Captain Marvel, and I still want more of this version of him. We've got Vision, we've got Cap, we've got Wasp. I wouldn't mind that green and yellow costume. And then this guy too. But Scorpion is such a cool looking character. He's got the Zodiac key. And if we get him, we don't necessarily need to push to get the rest of the Zodiac right away because he's a standalone villain for the most part. But I'm eventually going to want those guys too. And I just love his orange costume and this weird half mask portion that suddenly turns red. I don't know. I just think that's a funky look. And I think it can make for really fun, great figure, and he can fight your Avengers and Nick Fury. I'm going to still go from M'Baku. We don't have to call him Man-Ape to avoid offending anyone. I want this look so it's not like he's just a dude in a full-on gorilla suit or ape suit, whichever way you want to go with that. Plus, I just like the way this looks with the green sash hanging down. We got the fringe elements going, the green boots. I think the whole white outfit This kind of makes him look a little bit goofy, where I think this kind of gives him a half man, half amazing kind of look, which I really dig. So he would be a deluxe. Maybe put him on Pulse so no one has to get upset if they see him on the shelves at Target or Walmart. And then, I mean, they started this. I didn't necessarily have these guys on my list before, but when they gave us Maggot, I was like, well, all right, well, I need Marrow and I need Dr. Cecile Reyes because this is the whole updated team of X-Men. Granted, I still could use Storm with his hairstyle, but we've got everyone else from this team. It's not a hard X-Men era to replicate. We just need two more characters. I don't know. Maybe put them in a 2-pack. She's really basic. Cecile Reyes doesn't need anything. She could just reuse basically any mold, maybe the Black Widow mold since it's there, and just give her the training suit colors. Marrow requires a little bit more work, but Marvel versus Capcom fans would really appreciate her. And it feels like the Marvel Legends team is a fan of that game too. So she's one that they still need to knock out. Got Blackheart, so I guess we can bump her up a little bit higher on the list anyway. So those two, that takes us to 38 more X-Men. Mesmero, a villain who was very key, actually was able to catch the X-Men off guard and make them bow to his wishes. And they were only saved because Beast came through and saved them. But I love this green. Again, classic Marvel villain colors. Green and purple. This time we got a little bit more yellow green, so maybe make it stand out a little bit different. But yeah, this color scheme's great. His helmet, the whole deal, the neck collar, great look for a cool villain. And I think he'd be a worthwhile addition to our Marvel Legends X-Men villain shelf. Then let's get this guy his due. I mean, again, maybe there's another excuse to get this figure out because the Fantastic Four movies coming up. Maybe people get confused, but let's get the original Human Torch finally done. And I can give him the Vulcan mold as well. Do those line looks, the whole pattern. That's the flame on look that I know and love. And of course, he gets the blank face, no emotions, because that way you can distinguish him between Johnny Storm. We've already got Namor, got Cap. We still need the Wizard. I think it's Miss America. I mean, we still need more of the invaders, but the big three are really necessary. And let's not shortchange the other important members of that team. Let's get Toro. Hey, and let's get Bucky. And I didn't even know about Golden Girl or the Human Top. They'd be fun too, but definitely get these two. I mean, Bucky needs a new figure, and Toro would be really cool just because, hey, it's the sidekick to a dude who sets himself on fire, or who didn't set himself on fire, setting up the wrong message to the kids out there. Maybe we should replace him with a robot. Toro, Bucky, let's make them happen so we can have mostly a full set of invaders. Let's go back to finishing more members of the Avengers, though. Let's get Star Fox. And he was one I kind of thought we would see in Marvel Legends earlier because, hey, we just got his appearance in Eternals. And if I spoiled that for you, sorry, not sorry. But I love his costume and his just unique look with the gold bangles, the white and red. And he's got a fox in the center in case you were confused. And it's just got a smiling head sculpt. I mean, the dude's a really simple figure to do. And we've got all these characters. So this is another Avengers team we can complete with him. And we've already got his brother Thanos, and he's another major player in Infinity Gauntlet and Infinity War. Maybe they could do another head sculpt where his mouth is covered or just removed. That could be a creepy, fun look for him. But I like to see him. Harry Styles would like to see him too, Hasbro. So make it happen. Next up, they've done a lot of good work on the original Guardians of the Galaxy, and we don't want to shortchange the old original crew. We've got Yondu, we've got Vance Astro. Let's go with two more. I know there's more characters we still need to add. Let's get Charlie 27. Let's get Starhawk done. Charlie 27 is a big guy. I think he's probably best suited as a deluxe figure on his own. Maybe shorter than Blob. I don't think he's that tall or anything, but he needs to be wide and chunky. So, and with this complicated outfit, the straps and the studs, I think they need to really do him justice. So don't pair him in a 2-pack where they might have to shortchange some things. Starhawk is mostly simple and easy. Head sculpt, of course, they've got to make sure they do those wings right. And I think we can get him. Maybe if Starhawk is too complicated in a budget, Martin X would be an easy one. You could basically reuse Iceman figures and make him more translucent, since that's the way they like to do that. With him, it makes more sense than a human that just encases himself in ice. I neglected him earlier on purpose. I didn't say him by name because he absolutely needs to make this list. Yellow Jacket, he's one that I think, just because of the different artist interpretations of how the eye slots, the eye goggles are done, he needs to have like 2 or 3 different head sculpts, one with no goggles, one with enclosed McFarlane style goggles, and then the other where you can actually see his eyes through the goggles. That's my choice. I mean, I got to get Yellow Jacket. We've got so many of the classic 70s Avengers. Definitely need a Yellow Jacket. He is now number 44 on the list. So we're on the home stretch. Almost done. And then this one is Cersei. I feel like we've gotten so many members of this 90s Avengers team, early 90s Avengers team. And I'd like to get Cersei. We got Icarus. So we're starting to make some headway on the Eternals. Also mentioned Star Fox. I don't think she'd be that complicated. She's basically wearing a green bathing suit with long gloves and boots. I don't think they have to go too hard and do too much with her. I wouldn't mind getting this Quasar figure too in a better, wider Vulcan size white vision, but Cersei's an easy one. I think sometimes they need some easy layup ones. I know she got one in the 2-pack with Black Knight, but this is her Eternals look, which would work for an earlier team version of the Avengers. And also, she can join Icarus and give him some company. So Cersei is number 45. Scourge. And one more holdover, I think. Yes. Of my original list, I have to get this guy. I mean, we got Enchantress, we got Baron Zemo. That's another Masters of Evil squad. And he is big, chunky, beefy. He just looks intimidating. I think if they were to do him justice, he would be a really fun figure. Give him that big helmet too and just go nuts. Give him a massive axe. I think Ares would work fine for him. Let's get this figure done. Stop delaying. Next up is another big guy, even a little bit bigger. Black Goliath. He's got really cool outfits. I'm not necessarily attached to any one particular, but this is the outfit he normally wore as a member of the Champions. So I think this is more of my preference, since we kind of by default had that team done already. So I would love to get Bill Foster. He would be a character which they chose any costume. I'm like, all right, whatever. But I think this would be a really fun look for him. I'm not quite sure which way I want to see him. Maybe in a 12-inch scale where they're using that non-HasLab format to make giant, larger characters. I think he'd be a really good choice. So that's probably where he makes the most sense. And maybe they could just release a smaller size version of him. I don't know, in a 2-pack or just a standalone figure. I love what they did with the Giant Man. We got a smaller version of him in the 2-pack with Wasp. So hopefully we'll see more of that with larger giant characters, where we get the tall, maxed out, super sized version and then the smaller, average sized version of it. My Defender's love is going to continue to show through these lists. I need a version of Gargoyle. He's just got such a cool look. Origin purple. Marvel really loves this purple with the character designs. But Gargoyle is such a really fun, cool design. We've got Beast, we've got Iceman, we've got Angel. So we're getting slowly into that next era of the Defenders. We definitely desperately need a new updated version of Valkyrie, but Gargoyle was probably like the last character alongside Moondragon that really signifies the new era of the Defenders. And I just think his look is so unique and so fun. He'd make for a really great member of that Defenders team. And you can still kind of pair him up with the old school members, Hulk, Namor, Hellcat, Damien Hellstrom, because he's around in that transition period. So he works with either version of the team. So there you go. And then finally, number 50. Donald Pierce. I mean, this guy. I mean, we got so many of the Reavers. It's Death Strike. We need the leader of the team. And there's a certain movie that came out that just kind of made me go, ooh, it'd be really fun to get the whole complete Reavers. So I can do that shot. But we need to get him. And I still want his proper colors in the Hellfire Club box set, but this more regal Reavers attire would make for a really fun figure too. So hopefully we get this. I mean, because we've got so many of those guys, and he'd be a great addition to this roster, this team. So I'd like to see him get done. All right, well, I'm gonna go through the whole list, or maybe I will. But Banshee, Jean Grey, Beast, Trapster, Wizard, Gorgon, Triton, Stonewall, Crimson Commando, Super Saber, Harry Leland, Armored Psylock, Jack of Hearts, Manus, and Philobel, Guardians of the Galaxy versions, Dr. Druid, Swordsman, Gladiator, Diablo, Master of the World, Mandrill, Famine, War, Pestilence, Hepzibah, Raja, Volcana, Adam Warlock, Cameron Hodge, Moses Magnum, Melter, Black Knight of the Masters of Evil, Supreme Intelligence, Scorpio. Shout out to Simpsons fans. M'Baku, Morrow, Dr. Cecile Reyes, Mesmero, Original Human Torch, Bucky, Toro, Ole, Star Fox, Charlie 27, Starhawk, Cersei in her Eternals attire, Scourge the Executioner, Black Goliath, Gargoyle, and Reaver Donald Pierce. So that's my top 50 updated. I only included 10 holdovers, brand new 40. Probably gonna, when I do this again, this updated version of it, I'm gonna shrink down the holdovers to 5. Hopefully I can cross off Green Banshee and Jean Grey and Beast. And don't have to include them on the next one. But we'll see. Hopefully some of these will get knocked out and get announced before the end of the year. So fingers all the way crossed. And we'll see what happens. But that's my updated top 50. Definitely want to hear what you all want to see. So please let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I'll be back on as normal for another edition of Lyle's Figure Files.